Tell me about your brief run in ECW. I know you challenged Shane Douglas for the World Heavyweight title.
Yes, I did. It was very brief. It was maybe 2 appearances at most. I think I wrestled. I believe I wrestled a young kid named Ray Odyssey, and they put me over on him, and then they wanted to have a match with me and Shane, which was great because Shane and I got along very well in and out of the ring. And I think we both understood the business a little bit different when it came to, it was more conservative type wrestling, a headlocking over, an arm bar, an arm drag, a hip toss, or this or that, and then he stayed with it a little bit longer than I did, and then he got into a little bit of extreme stuff, but he did it well. He incorporated professional wrestling the way he and I know it to be, and also added a little bit of the extreme stuff. Now, I don't understand professional wrestling when you have to get put through not 1 table, not 2 tables, but 3 tables, and you get slammed on thumbtacks. It's, nice. You get gigged by somebody else, and if people don't know what gigged means, somebody's cutting your forehead for you, and I think you know who I'm talking about. Kind of would, I think, may have killed one individual, but that's not professional wrestling. Professional wrestling is a form of entertainment, and Shane knew that, and I knew that, but it was a form of entertainment that has cost me quite a few surgeries, and I'm going through them now, not as we speak, obviously, but during my last 3, maybe close to 4 years with my shoulder, my hip, my back is blown out. It's just been, but I'm paying for all that I did back then. But Shane and I, and actually I'm looking for Shane because I heard from somebody else that does a podcast that they interviewed Shane, did a podcast with Shane, and they asked him about me, and kind of similar to your question, what was the last time you saw Jim Powers? And he says, well, I think the rebut was that Shane had gone to my room, hotel. We were sharing the same hotel, but not the same room, because maybe one of us had company and the other one didn't, or we both had company. I don't know.
Okay.
I think you can read between the lines.
I can. Thank you. Yes.
Your fans can read between the lines on that one. And I guess Shane came to my room, he claims, and I'd love to speak to him about this because I don't remember. He came to my room, and I don't know why I wouldn't have been there, or at least in the lobby. He opened up the door, and it was the last time he saw me was the night before. I wasn't there.
Okay.
So I kind of, the more I think about it, the more I talk about it, especially, I kind of think I know what happened, but I may have bailed early because of my company. So,
Understandable.
I'm not talking about the WWF, but anyway, but Shane's a great guy. I mean, he's got a good look for the business. He's got good work. I mean, he can work either way. He started going towards the extreme stuff, but he still never forgot his roots. He never forgot professional wrestling. I mean, he was trained by Dominic DeNucci, who was from Pittsburgh and a personal friend of Bruno Sammartino's at the time. Well, they were always friends until death. I don't know what Dominic's status is now, but he was trained by someone who was brought up pro wrestling, and he was trained very well. He was nothing. I have nothing bad to say about him. He's a class act, a former school teacher, I believe. So if Shane hears this or anybody knows where Shane is, please get me his number, and I'd love to reach out to him, and maybe we can put that story together as to why I wasn't in the room when he opened up the door, and he was looking for me to go to the airport, and that was the last he ever saw of me. But no, Shane was a good guy, and we had a good, solid match. I don't know if maybe there was a chair shot in there to justify the extreme, but I was never one for that craziness. I didn't think that a chair shot here and there, or brass knucks, or a tape fist, or something like that, or Iron Mike Sharp's wounded forearm forever. Bob Orton's elbow always hurt all the time. He had a cast on it. But yeah, I can understand that. But the craziness of where Paul Heyman took that company and that part of the business, just really, I don't understand it. But maybe it's not for me to understand it. Let's just say it's not my thing.
Gotcha. Okay, so now let's say ECW wasn't so extreme and it was more focusing on the wrestling aspect. Do you think you would have stayed there longer? Was the door open?
No, I absolutely believe it would have been like that, but because I was personal friends with Paul Heyman. When Paul Heyman got started, he lived in the New York area, not New Rochelle, I don't know, somewhere up that way, kind of an upper crustic New York area, and he would come around, and I remember Paulie asking and calling me all the time and saying, listen, I'd like to take you around New York. And, he had an office at Studio 54. And he took me and Bam Bam Bigelow, and we'd go around to different places in New York. And, of course, Studio 54 stands out because Studio 54 was a hot spot. I mean, it was on fire back then. And he took us and took some photos, and I don't know what he did with them, ever did with them. I'm sure he probably sent me copies. Then we went to some kind of a theater, or I don't. He just ran Bam Bam and me around New York City, and then next thing I know, he's running a company called ECW, and he's great. Paulie is great. He's great on the stick. He's great as far as writing. He's great for the business. I mean, it's fantastic. Him and Tommy Dreamer. Okay. Tommy is another wonderful human being. Tommy looks like a schoolboy. I mean, he looks like you wouldn't expect him to do some of the stuff or all of the stuff that he did in the ring. Tommy's another one he's got the athletic ability to do the pro wrestling, and he can incorporate the extreme too. Tommy's a very intelligent, smart, professional wrestler. Whether it be entertainment, professional wrestling, extreme, he can do it all. And Paul was a great promoter. Paul probably is still a great promoter, and I understand he's still working with the WWE company. So good for him. Good for him.